Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. I hope you guys have all had a great week so far. The markets have been kind of all over the place, but there's still some really great setups. It's just kind of typical summer movement that we're seeing right now, but there's still some good levels to work with. First of all, just a quick look. You can see we're about 6 minutes before the close here, and things are going to end a little bit in the positive on the Dow, but a little bit in the negative on the S&P. It's just been kind of a mixed day. We saw some big rallies in the euro pairs because of some news about the ESM and possibly getting a banking license. But whether that's going to be enough to really keep things going or not is definitely yet to be seen. Quick look at news today. We do have the interest rate announcement for New Zealand coming out in the next couple of hours, it looks like. So that'll be a little bit of a mover. We don't really trade the New Zealand dollar too much, so just keep an eye on that and remember that that can be some pretty volatile movements. Coming up tomorrow into tonight and early tomorrow morning, Draghi speaking from the ECB. That's going to be a mover. Durable goods for the U.S. is always a mover, and unemployment claims and pending home sales. So we have those coming up, and those are going to be decently active. I'd expect a little bit of movement out of those. So here's what we saw in the euro last night. The thing rallied like crazy. We saw it run up, give us a couple of strong candles, and it rallied about 100 pips. We had in the notes last night an entry for an open above this level right here, 120.80, and it gave us a pretty nice run and rallied very well. You know, a bit further than I expected it to go, but still a nice little buy trade on that. And now here's the euro dollar up here, just sitting at this 121 kind of 50-60 area, and this is a pretty strong support, or excuse me, resistance. It was a really strong support back here. If we look at it, here's 121.65, and the market tested it over and over and over again. Really had a hard time getting below that one for a good chunk of the month, and finally made a nice little run below it. And now it's using it as resistance. Now, what is significant about this area is if we break back above 121.65, then we've got some interesting levels to move up into. Number one, we've got the 23% fib, which is up here around 122, kind of 15-ish. So from current market price, that's about 60 pips. From a break there, it'd be about 40 plus. So we're going to keep an eye on that. This is going to be a very important area. Lots of resistance, descending trend line, just a lot of stuff right here. And so we're keeping our eye on this and looking for that movement. But remember, we are coming into the top of this trend line, and there's going to be a lot of resistance and a bit of a hard time getting there. The fib levels are coming from the high of last month to the current low right here. We had a nice run up and a nice continuation down from there. And so as that's kind of happening, we're just kind of holding on and looking for some of that retracement to happen into this 23 and potentially into this 38. This 38 is going to be, in my opinion, probably the unbreakable resistance. I'd be really surprised to see the euro get above 123.15, but I think our first target is going to be about 122.15. So keep an eye on that. Look for a break of 121.65. Otherwise, if we don't get that kind of a move, then we're gonna keep our eye on this double top right here and on some downward movements. But we don't have any super clear entries just yet, so we're gonna hold off just a little bit before looking to trade that down. And I'll have notes on Twitter and trade details posted in the chat about that. Okay, pound dollar is looking kind of interesting. This pair is a little bit all over the place. Lots of consolidation and lots of choppiness right here. And we're still having a little bit of a hard time with this 154 kind of 95, 15500 area. It's getting really messy and ugly in there. One thing that I'm going to be interested in is see our daily pivot in this area right here. If we get an open above about 155.15, I think that's going to be a nice buy for 20 to 30 pips right around there. So an open above 155.15 should be able to help this pair rally a little bit and get above this trend line and give us a legitimate breakout. We're in a lot of support right here. We've got a little dip below, but really for the most part, this 15500 ish area has really held strongly. So we're going to keep an eye on that and just watch again for an open above 155.15. As far as some downside potential movement, you can see that we do on the short-term time frames, we do have a little bit of a trend line that we can be looking for and kind of trying to get some breakout activity, and that's right around here. And so if we get back below, once again, a nice little break below that 154.95 area, then we might have some nice downward movements back into these lows, which again is only about 30 pips. So watch that 154.95 on the short-term time frames there and look for a break there. Otherwise, otherwise we're looking for 155.15 above. Euro yen looks very similar to the euro dollar. We had a nice break of this trend line, and this was also in the daily video yesterday, 94.50, and we had a nice break of that and a very nice rally. Same as the euro dollar, we're coming into big. This isn't quite as significant resistance as that 121.65 level on the euro dollar, but this 95.15, this is 95.15, is a pretty important level. If we get a break above this, we're going to come shortly into the 1 hour gap and into the descending trend line, which is about 25 to 30 pips, give or take, in there, depending on when that breaks. And then just above that, just around 95.80-ish, we have the 23% fib. So in the next kind of 50, 60 pips above that level, there's tons of resistance, and it looks like, I would say, things are going to have a hard time breaking through and getting through some of those levels. But we do appear to have a pretty strong bottom in place here, so we're going to keep our eye on that and just see if we can get some bigger, better upside movement out of some of this. So again, the fib levels and so on, from the high of last month to the low of this month, is going to be the 23% fib will be pretty important, and that's right around 95.80, and then we have the 38% fib, which is around 96.80, so about 100 pips apart on those two. So keep an eye on that. Again, don't really have a super good clear entry to short this pair, just like the euro dollar, so we're going to keep an eye on it and look for entries as the day goes on, and kind of get in on that. Last but not least, we have the Aussie dollar. We've been looking at the Aussie dollar, and it's been breaking and running and breaking and running and so on, and it looks bullish for now, but we'll see. It broke out of this channel pretty well and very nicely back into the channel, and it's above what has been pretty important resistance for the last little while. So I think the Aussie dollar might be able to stay in there and stay strong. But if we look at some of these shorter term time frames here, you can see we have a pretty nice little trend line, but there's a lot of muck in through there. So I'm going to look for a breakout down and a nicer run there. So we'll just kind of keep our eyes peeled and looking for that. And then last but not least, gold has finally, which seemed impossible, has finally made a break above 1600. So as gold has broken above 1600, we may be able to see a rally. We just may be able to see a rally. We've gotten out of this trend line. This has been a pretty tough area. 1600 has been tough resistance. So now we might see gold start to rally just a little bit. Not convinced yet, but I think it's pretty possible. So we have some good setups in the works. Best of luck, guys, and I will see you all in the chat with some updated trade entries. Thanks, everyone. Take care.